Hey guys, so welcome back to this video. In this we'll be trying to solve the problem of the day on Geeks for Geeks of 13th November. Interleaved strings, alright? Given strings S1, S2 and S3, find whether S3 is formed by an interleaving of S1 and S2. Alright, so this basically means that you'll be given a string inside S3, you have to say if it is formed by the combination of strings S1 and S2 in the same order. Now I'll be explaining this first example uh, on the whiteboard. So let's look at the next two examples. Okay, you have A, B, and C. So your third string, you have A, which is this character right here. That's fine. Then you have C, which is the first character in this, and then you have B, which comes after that, which is the next character in S1. Now this, the string S3 formed goes in order, right? So it's valid. Now let's look for the rest. Okay, like the next example, S1, S2, and S3 have X as the first character, which works. Okay, you can either go from S1 or S2. So for S2 you have X. Okay, then you have X again. Now in S1 the character you have is Y. X comes after that. Now we know that we have to go in order, right? Now because of this it is invalid. All right, so let's see as to how we can solve this. Okay, I'll be explaining with the first example right here. Right, so now the basic approach, say for example you have B as your S1, right? The same example. Then you have AC, right? And then as a combination, you have ABC. All right. Now, if you think the naive approach, you can think about going through each character in each string, right? So you can have an I pointer here, a J pointer here, and a K pointer here. All you have to do is check, right? If either one of the characters in S1 or S2 are matching with the character we have right now in our answer string, right? But this might not always work. So like say for example, this particular case what we have right here. Okay, we have S1 and S2. Both S1 and S2 has the same character A. Now which pointer shall we move to go forward? Because if you think about it, if we choose the I pointer to move forward, the I pointer can move forward over here, right? But that could also be a case where we want the J pointer to move forward instead, right? So like there can be multiple possibilities for one particular answer, right? So you need to explore every single path. So we can use a recursion in this, right? So in this particular case, we'll set both the I pointer and the J pointer to move forward. We will explore the individual routes and we'll see what works for us. Okay. We'll also have a table called memo with us to store if the results of the path we follow, if it's actually correct or wrong. Okay, and based on this, we can get our final answer. So we'll be having true, false, and all based on which ij value we are. All right, as simple as that. So now let's see as to how we can code this out. Okay, so let's try and code this out. We'll first be starting by taking the length of everything. So len of S1, then len of S2, and S3. All right, this works. Now we have to check if m plus n is not equal to L, right? Because they said that the answer string or S3 should be the combined length of S1 and S2. Then we can directly return false. All right, not true, false. Okay. Now after this, we'll be having our hash set over here. Okay. Now this will be a recursive function. Okay. Now inside this, if I comma j is in memo already, right? If this is there inside memo, we can just return memo of ij. Okay, now if it is already stored, so we can either get the true or false value directly from that. Now you have to find the value of k. K will be I plus j, right? That's basically k is the pointer of our S3 variable, and I is a pointer of S1 and j of S2, right? So the k pointer will always be the sum of the other two, right? Now if k is equal to L, this basically means that if k manages to reach the end and reach through its entire string length, it means that we reach the answer. So you can just return true. Okay. Now we have the recursive case, as I said. This name is use S1. Make sure that I is lower than M and S1 of I is equal to S3 of K. If this is the case, then we can perform dp of I plus 1 J. All right. As simple as that. All right. Now this should be inside this main bracket itself because you have two conditions to work. All right. Now we can use the same thing for the next statement as well. You can copy this. Now the only difference is instead of checking for S1, we'll check for S2. So j less than n it will be here, and S2 of j should be equal to S3 of k. And in this case, instead of moving I forward, we'll just move j forward. All right, that's basically it. Now result will be equal to use of S1 or use of S2, right? Which one ever works. You have to use that path which works, right? So yeah. Now memo of I comma j, right, will be equal to result. So either the true or false value we can store. Then we can just return result, and outside we can just return dp of 0, 0. All right, this should work. Let's see. There you go, it works. Let's submit. All right, that's how you solve this problem. If you have any doubts, do let me know down below. And that's it for this video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.